Welcome everybody to another unauthorized caucus. We've got a little bit of a double unauthorized today. It is noon. It is Thursday. It's time for an unauthorized caucus, but we're a little extra unauthorized today. My cohort Andrew Muller has left me high and dry. He's on the road traveling, and I tell you what. We've got a few folks. I actually have some neat ideas for the future as far as some guest co-hosts and folks that we'd like to bring in. But I thought today there might be something particularly poignant to talk about. And honestly, I could just do this one-on-one, you and me, and we can run through something because we haven't really had a chance to talk about it. So before we dive into that, let me remind everyone, go ahead and subscribe to our email list. Head over to phyllisschlafly.com. There you will be able to sign up for the Phyllis Schlafly email list. You'll get not only the notification for this program before it comes out about an hour before, but you will also receive the Daily Wink email every morning, 7 a.m. Central Time. That's going to hit your inbox. It's got a few links. It's got what you need to know for the day, plus a conservative post we've pulled out of Twitter, a highlight to send to you, things that you need to know. We keep it short and simple. That, along with a few other things, you will be in the know. And I tell you what, there's a lot going on today, but I wanted to take a moment to highlight, even just on my own here, something that's happened and something that we're doing that's coming up, but then what all of us can do. Those are the three things. That's what they tell you in public speaking class, right? We got to signpost. We're going to signpost. That is our goal today. So what's happened? Well, with it. And by the way, please chime in on the chat wherever you are, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble. Go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button wherever you are. Hit the follow button. Share this link with a friend. Have them jump in on the conversation too here. I'm over on the chat, and I'll make sure that even though it's just me, as I get links going and things here, if you have something to chime in, go ahead and hit me with it. And we'll go here for about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. I think that's about what we'll need to cover because I think there's a very key thing for us to take away. So let's be clear. What has happened? Well, if you weren't aware, this month is the 1-year anniversary. Of course, it's Pride Month, as most of the big corporations out there can't let us forget with their massive shifts that we've seen, although not as long as normal, in profile photos all over social media. And in some places like Target and some others going full bore and making sure it's a giant acres wide, it seems, display at the very beginning of their stores when you walk in. But this month is something more specific for us as conservatives. 1 year ago, Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire released their documentary, What is a Woman? And I think that most of us, when it came out, had the idea it would be funny and witty. It would be full of ammunition for us as conservatives, what to do to fight this, you want to say the transgender movement, but really the radical gender ideology, the radical sexualization of our culture and of children particularly. And I think that it probably surprised, I know it surprised me. I think it probably surprised a lot of us. Knowing who Matt Walsh is, knowing who the Daily Wire is, I think we all kind of had as an expectation set. But then, we as a staff here at Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, we sat down at the center. We had a big watch party. Our staff, spouses, different people brought them in. And I know that, we enjoyed our time together, but it was incredibly impactful to watch. And it was just done in a way that I don't think some of us were quite expecting. And it was very powerful and potent when it came to speaking the truth. But more importantly, even than that, just to begin with, I would say really pointing out some of the lies and the fallacies and just how not ridiculous it is, but how much some of these folks who are the primary proponents behind this issue know that what they're saying makes no sense. It's not backed up by any kind of research or science or anything. It was an incredibly powerful tool, this documentary, to introduce people who maybe didn't realize how much of a problem this was. Oh, well, that's not happening everywhere. Oh, that's not that big of a deal. Yes, it is. It's that big of a deal, and it's happening everywhere. Well, for the 1-year anniversary of that, that's, of course, been behind the Daily Wire Plus paywall for the last year. Well, and that's where it was released to begin with. They posted it on Twitter. And that for the 1-year anniversary, last Friday, they were going to post it on Twitter, or last Thursday night, I should say. They posted it on Twitter. And that in and of itself, we've got, and I'll put it down here. First of all, I'm going to leave a link to the tweet with the full video. It is free. It is out there for free. They said they were going to give it away for free for 24 hours. And then after the success that they met in those first 24 hours, they decided to give it away still free the whole weekend. The tweet is still there. The video is still there. I don't know how much longer it's up, but while it is up, you should go and find it and look, because there is absolutely an incredible point to watching this and to taking away this knowledge. And let's get into that. So first of all, the battle of getting it up, that was a big deal. They had to move what it seems like is heaven and earth to get that thing up, because originally they're going to post it on Twitter, and Jeremy Boring, the CEO of the Daily Wire, comes out and tells everyone we had this big deal. Twitter was going to help us promote it. They were going to give us a landing page. Of course, this is the new Twitter. This is Elon's Twitter, where free speech is more respected. And all of that fell apart when they sent the video over, and the folks inside the Twitter machine saw it and said, never mind, all of that deal is pulled. We can't do that deal. In fact, you can post it, but we're not going to let anyone see it except for your followers, and they can't share it. And all of these restrictions, all of this censorship, this shadow banning, and what does Elon refer to it as? Speech, not reach. You're allowed to post it, but that doesn't mean we have to let anyone see it. Well, that was going to be the decision, because, and Twitter specifically said, in 2 different instances, they only found 2 problems with the film, according to their worldview. In 2 instances, there were cases of misgendering someone, mispronouncing someone, and that was why it falls under. And then the Daily Wire folks said, well, wait a minute, I thought that you took away, after everyone complained about it, you took misgendering out of your hateful conduct. Oh yeah, we took it out by name, but we still consider it hateful conduct. So if you misgender someone, it still goes against our hateful conduct community guidelines. So this whole thing, everyone immediately starts appealing directly to Elon Musk on Twitter, tagging him. Hey, we thought that you were for free speech. We thought that you were for letting people hear information and make up their own minds. And they went ahead and posted it. 8:15 Eastern time, Thursday night, they posted it. Within 30 minutes, Elon Musk replied to them on Twitter and said, we're going to take a look at this tomorrow and make sure that it's worked out so that it's not throttled, so that your folks can see it. It may not get promoted and put to non-followers, but your followers at least can see it and, share it amongst themselves, or whatever it was he said. 12 hours later, 8:25 Eastern time, Friday morning, Elon Musk tweets the video. He quote tweets the post from the Daily Wire with the full documentary and says, every parent needs to watch this. And he pins that to the top of his Twitter profile. Wow. What a victory for speech and telling the truth. This alone is a fascinating story. But there's more to pull from it than that. This caused us, we talked about this on the Pro America Report last week, which I hope you're listening to. Ed Martin's daily radio broadcast. There's a lot of really good stuff there. Great truth is spoken frequently and very boldly as well. And the point that we took away from this battle over posting this video on Twitter, not even the video itself, but just posting it on Twitter, getting it out there, speak the truth relentlessly. That's what we said. That's what you need to know. Speak the truth relentlessly. The Daily Wire folks, Matt Walsh and his crew, fought for this documentary. They fought to make sure that it got out there, that it got noticed, that it got attention. And sure enough, at least one person who matters very much on the Twitter platform, Elon Musk, apparently, based on just guessing, from the one night, Thursday night, to the next Friday morning, it looks like he watched it and realized everyone needs to see this. This isn't some crazy propaganda piece. This is a bunch of real, legitimate questions and an honest search for objective truth that's met with just this insanity of a religion, a religious dogmatic approach to this transgender stuff. It was incredible. And that alone is a commendable commitment to the truth and the results that are possible when you stay committed to it. But I think that if we look at it, and this has, as this documentary has been free on the weekend, free over the weekend, I should say, and more people from the last year who have interviewed Matt Walsh and everything else, clips from that are coming back up. People are riding the wave of popularity and are bringing up the things that they've done with Matt Walsh over the last year. There is a lot of stuff buried in there. What he is saying, what others are saying about this, what this means for our culture and what we can do about it. And I think that there's a huge takeaway, and that's what we put here in our Unauthorized Caucus. Usually we like to have a, first of all, let me get this posted. Full documentary. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Not now. No, don't turn away from here just yet. Not now, but go and watch it. if you haven't. And I guarantee you it's worth your time. But I think what we take away from this, one of the big key takeaways, there are a lot. I was talking about this with Gwen, another coworker here at the center this morning. It's a spider web of things that you spin off into, and different areas, different reasons, different action items that we can take. But here's something that I think we need to, as conservatives, understand in every single conversation, in every single issue that we face. Truth is the greatest weapon that we have. Truth is the greatest weapon that we have against what's going on in society, which, make no mistake, is being purposefully done to our society by people who want to tear it apart, by people who want to change and upend the Judeo-Christian values that America is based upon, that want to change and upend the very republic, the system that was given to us by our founding fathers, this bastion of freedom and debate. The ability to debate each other, whether it's in a governmental context or just you and me talking about an issue and kind of figuring out, well, what about this? Well, what about this? Being thoughtful. I come with my opinion, you come with yours, but there's no yelling and screaming and dogmatically knowing that I'm right and you can't even be heard. This new, and not that these things have never existed before, but not in mass like we're seeing now. These new equations to the big national civil discussion, to the community discussion that we have here in America. There is, you could shout back. Yes, we could have zingers, which I know some of our favorite conservative hosts often do. But if you look at it, the people who are willing to engage, the Matt Walshes who go out and have college campus speeches, the Charlie Kirk who sits under a tent on college campus and engages with people in as much of a non-inflammatory way, but asks questions and corrects and refers to facts and evidence. Truth is our greatest weapon. And I think that that's twofold. First of all, we know the truth will set us free. I mean, that's a biblical concept. That one is a foundation. The truth will set us free. And it is not our truth. It is the truth. There is objective truth and reality upon which we rely. It's a very important part that has to be a part of your worldview if everything else is going to make sense. But following that truth, following after it, asking questions about it, being open to it. When you look at this documentary, watch What is a Woman, in which you're going to, if you haven't yet, but long story short, without any spoilers, you're going to see Matt Walsh sit down with a lot of people, some of whom you agree with, a lot of whom you don't, and just ask them questions and let them go. And it becomes abundantly obvious that they just can't answer questions. We have to redirect. We have to just become emotional. We have to throw stuff back up and answer. There's one where he goes around and around and around. Every question he asks, this professor of gender studies responds with a question. There is so much deflecting that goes on because you know what? At the end of the day, it's not logical. Their dogmatic beliefs about this radical transgender ideology, they're not logical. It doesn't make sense. It's not based on facts or research. It's not honest. And I think a lot of them know that. Most of them probably do. And the ones that choose to ignore it are just willfully moving on. So I tell you what, I think that we need to understand that pursuing truth, speaking the truth, fighting for the truth, following the truth in a humble manner. Not that I know everything, but I'm searching for it. Will you come and join me? That kind of attitude, I think, is an incredibly powerful and important weapon, not only that you and I can use as we approach new subjects and try to figure out what we think about something and how we are to respond, but in getting people out there in the middle to actually stop and say, wait a minute, you're right, this doesn't make sense, or that person is lying, or there is no research for this, because it's true. There's just the radical left in America, culturally, politically, legally, they're lying. They are lying over and over to us. They're lying and we're letting them get away with it. We have to challenge it and just speak the truth. Now, I know there is a lot that we need to go into about how to do that, where you and I can fit into that. That is important. And I don't know if we have a time. Maybe we need to do that. You sound off and let me know. But maybe we need to have just an actual serious nuts and bolts caucus, or maybe it's a side thing, a side video that we do and pull in some other experts and tell us, how do I get active? I know that some of you already are. Some of you probably want to be. But that commitment to the truth, to speaking it, to pursuing it, to asking questions about it to the people that we disagree with, let them answer and just continue to ask over and over until really they're going to talk themselves into a circle. Anyone watching, even if this person who you're talking to, their mind isn't changed because they're so dogmatically tied to what they've already decided they believe, everyone else who's watching, Just like this with the documentary. Maybe Matt Walsh isn't changing the mind of the person he's interviewing, but everyone watching who wasn't really sure, didn't think it was a big deal, thought, well, it's, it's research backed and we don't want a bunch of young people hurting themselves because you didn't affirm their gender and then they go off committing suicide. Well, when you ask enough questions, you start going into it, going, wait a minute, no, they don't. Wait a minute, no, there's not this problem. No, it's not even all gender dysphoria that needs to work its way out. There's a social contagion here, and people are latching on to this because they're searching for identity or they just want attention or fill in the blank. It actually, all of these things are in fact true when you go down the path and follow them. Speaking the truth, being committed to the truth, asking questions about the truth, pursuing the truth. This is one of our most powerful weapons. We must pursue it relentlessly. We must use it relentlessly. And honestly, if everyone at the table of a discussion is committed to the truth, committed to looking for the truth and finding the truth, not just making whatever their truth is fit, rationalizing until we get to where I want to go, but finding out where it is that we're going, I think that that also returns us to some civil debate in America. And I know this is just my opinion. I don't have anyone here to bounce anything off of today. I'm offering this to you as something that's very important, because I know that the What is a Woman, the release of this documentary has just been exploding over the last several days. Tucker, this ties into Tucker. We talked about this back with Tucker's firing. And let me go ahead. I'm going to drop a couple more things in here. Back when Tucker got canned. This is a conversation. Why? Why did Tucker get canned? Well, Tucker sure spoke a lot of truth compared to some of the other hosts around there. So maybe we should not have him on the airwaves anymore, the big media people at Fox News say. And sure enough, Tucker's gone. But Tucker relentlessly speaks the truth. Tucker relentlessly asks questions that no one else is even willing to ask, even if he's not giving an answer. He entertains things. Well, let's think about that for a minute. Guess what? Tucker's wildly popular questioning and wildly popular truth speaking went on Twitter this week with episode 1. And what did I see? The numbers in 3 hours. He had surpassed 3 times over his average nightly viewership on the old Fox show. Holy cow. I mean, this is nuts. And by the way, same thing with What is a Woman? By the time they went throughout the weekend, I think it was 170 something million views. 170 million views. Now, I don't know if every single one of those people sat down and watched the entire documentary, but think about it. And I think it's over 180 million now. The Daily Wire puts out a documentary for free. It causes a big hullabaloo on the internet. Everyone hears about it. They all go and start watching it. Everyone's allowed to share it and oh, by the way, Elon and his team did take off all of the restrictions, true to their word. That thing got shared and moved around everywhere. The little warning label was taken off of it. So good for Elon. He did the right thing there. But 180 million views, well over a third of the population of America potentially just viewed that documentary this weekend. That's huge. And they were dogmatically, there's a word I keep using negatively, let's use it positively. That team dogmatically committed to making sure that their documentary, that the truth at least be spoken to be considered. Powerful, absolutely powerful. I think it's a reminder that all of us need to have, whether it's in our own lives or our personal sphere of influence. We must be doggedly committed to the truth. We must be relentless in speaking it, and we must be humble in asking the questions that move us toward the truth. That moral relativism, and I know we've covered it here before. At the bottom of all of this, we're fighting over 2 different religious views in America. There is, I would argue the Judeo-Christian, values and ethics. But you could insert a bunch of different things. People who are committed to understanding that the state is not God, that there is supreme authority and power that is separate from us, that sets down guidelines and objective truth, and there is absolute truth. And then there is the other side, this secular humanism that drives the Marxist theory, whether it's cultural Marxism or just plain old Marxism trying to take over the government, and, yay for the proletariat, down with the bourgeoisie. Secular humanism is the religious mantra on this side, that man is perfectible. Utopia is attainable. It's always the outside circumstances and never the inside nature of man that's bad. So we can always blame someone else. Does that sound familiar? Man can always be made better if his circumstances change. Does that sound familiar? Man gets to decide for himself because our innermost truth is really what's right. Does that sound familiar? All of this is coming out of a radically different religious viewpoint than you and I. And I guarantee most people in America don't hold that. But because of fill in the blank, political correctness, because of brainwashing in school, because of whatever it is, we just keep getting pulled along and pulled along. Maybe just because of throwing our hands up and saying, I don't know what to do about it, so I'm just going to unplug. I mean, if you like living here, which I do, it's not really an option. We were tasked with being the sovereigns of this country. We, the people, the consent of the governed. We have to go and give our consent. We can't give that up. And neither can we give up the truth being spoken. So that is my challenge to everyone today. Go and watch the documentary if you haven't. It is worth your time. Even if you agree 100% that this is one of the biggest issues in America that we have to deal with, go and watch it. You'll be armed. If you're not sure it's that big of a deal, go and watch it. Have an open mind. Be ready to change. If you know someone who's trying to grapple with these questions, have them watch it. It's still up. It's still free. You need to. And then, of course, we need to speak the truth and pursue the truth relentlessly. I think that this is the foundation underneath all of these issues that we talk about here on Unauthorized Caucus, over on the Pro America Report on Ed's radio program, in the Wink emails, in the weekly Phyllis Schlafly Report column, and our monthly reports over at the Education Reporter with our wonderful editor, Sue Kunstman. The Teen Eagles are putting out some great stuff. In fact, I'll probably try to pin a comment below. If you're on YouTube or Rumble, go there to YouTube and Rumble. I'm going to pin some stuff after the fact here as I think of it, because there are people who are talking about worldviews, people who are talking about truth. There are resources and people to get connected with and move forward. There is incredibly important work to be done, and we must be incredibly dedicated to the truth and to finding the truth and to speaking the truth when we found it. So I would like to encourage you as we continue to march through these, which we're going to get back to normal here the next few weeks. And then actually we've got plans. There's a new regular guest host is coming into our sphere to show up more often, but we're going to save that information. It's a face you've seen before. But I say guest host. We'll see. The co-hosts around here are fluid, as you've noticed. We mix it up whenever we can. But as we get back to that, I'd like to just lay that out there. The truth is what we're seeking, and that is what we must relentlessly pursue. It is our greatest weapon, speaking the truth and searching for the truth, understanding it's not our opinion. It is objective reality, and it exists. We must find it and then follow it. I think that is underneath all of these issues we talk about, and I hope that you will consider that along with me as we march forward into the rest of 2023 and 2024. We got presidential, or should I say vice presidential candidates. Inside joke. Not really an inside joke. If you agree with me, though, we've got a bunch of people running for vice president, and then, you know, the guy who's probably winning the primary. But that's another conversation. I'll stop. As those folks tack on, the GOP field gets bigger all the time. The Democrat field with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is definitely interesting, even if not electorally decided already. It's certainly going to be interesting to see the messaging in the debates, if there are debates. There's a lot going on. And as we march through all of these things, look through the rest of this year, take a summer break off before school district news starts up again, although it's certainly not stopping this summer. We got to keep this at the center, truth at the center of everything. May truth be our primary pursuit in this cultural and political landscape of America. So I'm going to post a few more things here in the comments, and make sure you come back for those if you don't see anything new. And we will look forward to diving in to another topic with truth in mind and with truth coming out of our mouths next Thursday on another Unauthorized Caucus there at noon Central Time. We'll look forward to seeing you. Thank you for joining me today and being with us a little bit as we kind of get down to the boilerplate underneath all of these issues. So like, share, and subscribe. Go to phyllisschlafly.com and sign up, and we will see you next Thursday for another Unauthorized Caucus. Thanks for joining, everyone. Have a wonderful week.